Welcome back to Eccentric Nature, friends. I'm Eric Hayden, and today I've got a tag called the Blue Booger tag by NonnaGrace. She decided to rename what's happening with us right now, and that was her name for it, so good on you, Nonna. But she sent a series of questions on what we think might happen because of the current blue boogery virus thing that's happening. Question number 1, do you think there will be a baby boom because of the current events? I guess that's entirely possible. It's not exactly like, you know, one of the world wars where you had a bunch of people dying and people were in different circumstances because of it. But, you know, people are locked up inside and, you know. What will be the number 1 name for babies once they come out because of this? I am going to say the new favorite name will be Corey, because I got a friend named Corey Peterson. That's the first name that popped to mind. Will we need new road signs, and what will they say? Ah, that's an interesting one. Okay. Yes, if we get new road signs, it will say people crossing, you know, that's a tough one. Will it say people crossing, keep 2 meters? Got some tough questions. I don't see how this would necessarily affect road signs other than, you know, people crossings, because, you know, driving shouldn't necessarily be changing because of all this. It's just more the interior problems of having people congregating together in close proximity with the germs and such. How will people greet each other in the future? Will there be no more handshakes? Will it be like, yeah man, how you doing? Lots of, you know, those kind of things. We're gonna have to drop the chest bumps? Oh, that'll be a shame. After the Blue Booger, will people meet and socialize again? Oh yeah, absolutely. Bar none. They're already trying to do it. So yes, it's gonna happen. And it's only a matter of time frame as to when it happens is really the important thing. I say it as being a foregone conclusion, though, that it's gonna happen no matter what. In fact, I'm really looking forward to seeing family members and close friends again so I can give them a big old hug. What will continue to be in short supply after the Blue Booger? I don't know if anything will necessarily be in short supply, because if things go back to normal necessarily, people won't need them. I mean, maybe people might use masks a little more regularly like they do in China still. Really, I don't necessarily see there being a shortage of flour or toilet paper and different things like this after things stop, and those have been the major products being lost right now as it is. Do you think the Blue Booger will return? If yes, when? If it does, it's because restrictions are lifted too quickly and we have a second wave. Scientifically, it'll just be a different variation, a different virus, something else new. It won't necessarily be the same iteration of this virus. That's just the way that works scientifically. And you're welcome to look that up and back that up. But yes, it's not going to return unless it's this same virus and we screw up our time frame like we kind of are in some places. When the Blue Booger is gone, will people plan for the future or just keep living day to day? People are creatures of habit, and so, yeah, they're going to go back to living day to day. You know, it's just part of human nature. I think a lot of them will. I mean, a lot of them are already. When we go shopping, we still see tons of people going for just a lunch bit, and I see people coming out with just one item. So it still is already happening. So yes, a lot of people will live day to day just because that's the way they choose to live their lives. And that's fine as long as you are taking the right precautions for that. Do you think the Blue Booger is real or some kind of conspiracy? I do not see it as a conspiracy. If anything, it's being used and manipulated in some ways by the government, unfortunately, which is always the case. Sorry to say it, but doesn't matter, conservative or liberal or whatever what label you want to try and put on it. Governments, being governments, will always try and use things to their advantage. You have to just kind of expect that and try and combat that as best as possible. Otherwise, it is a real virus. It is out there. It is killing people. It is a pandemic in the fact that we have not seen things to this level for a widespread virus before. Obviously, we've had viruses that have killed in much higher quantity in more select areas that haven't gotten out. But that's why it's being treated in a more serious fashion, is just because it really is just a regular flu, but it has a much higher death percentage attached to it. The main reason for doing what we are doing is in order to alleviate the pressure on the hospitals and other services that deal with these things. And also because if you do spread out the contagion and the number of people who get it and the rate at which it's contracted, you do lessen the number of deaths that can happen. So anything along those lines is good to do. So, you know, yes, a lot of us aren't affected, and yes, a lot of us don't see it coming in our days. I have had friends who've had it. I have had people who I know involved with it. And so I do know, yes, it's not a conspiracy. It is a real virus that's out there. And, you know, it is tough because it is so constricting on our lives. But at the end of the day, it's a good thing to do this in order to save lives. I mean, that's what it is at the end of the day. It's, you know, would you rather be confined for a little bit of time in order to save a lot of people, or just go, okay, screw it, let's all be out there and let it run its course and have lots of people die because of it? It comes down to something as easy as that. That got deep. Did you find this tag fun and thought-provoking? Yeah, I'd definitely say so, especially with that last one. It really started having me going like, yes, let's talk about the deeper aspects of this. Yeah, I mean, it's an uncomfortable thing to be dealing with, and I appreciate everybody's different take on it and what it's doing to us. But at the end of the day, if we just, you know, do our best, keep isolating ourselves, and just let this thing run its course, we'll be back to normal by, you know, sooner than later, you know, and avoid any recurrences and just let this thing be finished. What's more important is not our lives, it's keeping on the government about regulations for various things, because this started because of food processing plants, and it spread widely because of food processing plants too, and other things along those lines. Where these things start, that's where we need to be more concerned, is making sure that regulations are being taken care of about taking care of our food and taking care of various things along those lines. Which has been done better here in the UK than in the United States. They're having really good regulations to make sure we are having healthy food brought to us, and make sure we are getting things that are not contaminated in the first place, so we don't create new viruses and problems. See, I'm getting deep again already. Wow! But okay, I need to tag some people now. Alright, so I'm gonna go with the Vintage Carriage House, Contentment channel, My Goat Shed Life. She tagged me, so I'm tagging her back. Haha. Grandma Sandy. I know she likes doing a lot of different tags, so Grandma Sandy, tag it up. And last one I'm going with is DONDERS. You can't donder, so why don't you answer some tags? Alright everyone, hope you enjoyed my video today with some interesting talking about the old virus. You guys take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next round.